morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today for today's Grad Connect session for our international newly admitted students for fall 2024. Just some housekeeping things before we get started. A reminder that this session is for our newly admitted students who are coming here in just a few short weeks to our campus. If you are an applicant or a prospective student, or even someone who's been admitted possibly for spring, you are welcome to stay on and learn some things. But all the questions that we address and the things that we talk about today are going to be for our students who are arriving in just a few short weeks. So if you do have questions about the application process or any other questions, we do have other Grad Connect sessions that we regularly host that we really encourage you to attend. So if you do have questions about that, this session is not for that, just so we can honor everyone's time to get through all the questions that our newly admitted students have. But we're more than happy to answer those questions in an email or in other Grad Connect sessions. And I will drop in the chat a link for our other sessions that you can sign up for. So my name is Caitlin Beard. I'm the Director of Recruitment for the Graduate School. We have here today some of our staff over in International Student and Scholar Services. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. They have a few reminders to share with you guys, and then we'll get started with our current student panelists. I'll let them introduce themselves here in a few minutes, but we do have some questions that we want to ask our newly admitted, or not our newly admitted, since our current students on behalf of you guys, our newly admitted students, and then we'll open up any questions that you guys may have. So go ahead and start using that Q&A feature. Any questions that you may have about what it's like to live in Alabama, what it was like to get here, things like that. Please go ahead and start sending those, and then we'll answer those all. We'll probably get started with the questions here in about 15-20 minutes. But I will go ahead and let our friends from International Student and Scholar Services introduce themselves and get started.
Thank you, Caitlin. Hi, everyone. My name is Trong Nguyen. I am the Associate Director of International Student and Scholar Services. I've been here for 8 years, and I'm running the system to making sure that all of the data feeds properly to ensure that all of your immigration documents are accurate. And I'm joined today by two of my colleagues. I'll let Katie Grace and Rosanna to introduce themselves.
My name is Katie Grace. I'm an International Student Advisor.
My name is Rosanna Yolian. I'm an International Student Advisor, and I've been working in International Student and Scholar Services for about 2 years.
I think, I'll let the student panelists to introduce themselves.
My name is Claudia, and I'm a PhD candidate in the Communication and Information Sciences in the College of Communication and Information Sciences, of course. I'm from Indonesia, and instead of saying how long I've been here, I would say this is my last year as a PhD, hopefully.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ladi. I'm a fourth-year PhD student. I'm from Nigeria. I'm doing my PhD in electrical engineering. Nice to meet you guys.
My name is Solomon Najasa, and I'm the current president of the Graduate Student Association. I'm in the Department of Civil Construction and Environmental Engineering doing my PhD, and I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And with that, we have a few reminders from International Student and Scholar Services that we want to share with you, all of the newly admitted students. And then afterwards, we'll open the floor for questions if you have any. Right. I'll let Rosanna start off with some of the reminders.
Okay. So I'll start with our location. On your screen, you can see that we are located at 105 BB Commer. Our website is on your screen. Our email is international@ua.edu. You can contact us via our phone or via our email. We are open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. till 4:45 p.m. So do not hesitate to contact us if you have any questions. Okay. So when can you enter to US? If you are an F1 and J1 student on your I-20 or your DS 2019, you have a report date which for fall students will be August 14. So you can enter the US up to 30 days prior to report date listed on the I-20. So double check, it should be August 14 is your report date, and you can enter the country up to 30 days prior to that date. So getting to Tuscaloosa, we recommend you fly into Birmingham Airport. It's an international airport. It's closest major airport to the University of Alabama. So from airport, you can take a shuttle. We recommend you can take a shuttle. It's one of the ways to get to Tuscaloosa, and you can see a link to the shuttle on your screens. Temporary housing. Once you get into Tuscaloosa, you may need somewhere temporary to stay at. We have links to hotels, Airbnbs. There are also short-term extended stay hotels, short-term apartments with no lease, or extended stay hotels, which you can look into if you just need somewhere furnished the first few weeks of your stay here. Okay. So international online orientation, you will find this link on our website. You will have to complete the orientation. First, you review the information we have about cultural adjustment and health resources, then review academic success and campus life. And after that, we ask you to complete an immigration quiz. There is an immigration section video that we would like you to watch and then complete an immigration quiz. We want you to score 100% on the quiz, because these quiz questions are very helpful questions that you will need to know throughout your stay here in Alabama. After you complete your orientation, every student is required to complete an immigration check-in with us. So you have received this information via email already, but everyone who has an I-20 and comes to Alabama has to complete an immigration check-in with our office. So we ask you to submit some documents, contact information sheet, acknowledgement of responsibility form. You'll have the links to these forms, your passport main page, your visa page, and your I-20 that you have with your signature. So the I-20 that we sent to you, that you used to get your visa, you need to sign the first page of your I-20 and submit with the rest of your documents. Also, there is a link to I-94 arrival departure record. You will have to submit this. So list of this is very important, list of documents that you need to submit in order for us to validate your record and complete your immigration check-in. If you have spouse or children with you, we ask you to submit their documents as well. Another thing I would like to mention is you need to update your address in MyBama. Sometimes if your local address is not updated or is missing, that may delay your check-in completion with us. So please make sure you update your local address and submit those check-in documents as soon as possible. Thank you, and Trang will talk to you about graduate orientation and GTA workshops.
Yeah, thank you, Rosanna. So I just want to make sure that you are reminded about, like, for those who are on graduate teaching assistantship, you all are required to attend a workshop for new GTA on August 15 and August 16. And a graduate school will also have graduate orientation and welcome, or GROW event that will be on August 16 and 17. The GROW is designed to prepare you with the necessary information and resources that are available on UA campus to make sure that you are well-rounded in terms of information, and make sure that you have the best UA experience while you're starting here. So make sure that you have it on your calendar and do not miss these two events that coming up before the semester begins. For those who will come in, I assume that most of you probably don't have furniture bringing from your home country, but we do have a furniture giveaway for those who signed up, apartments that are without furnish. So the event will be on Thursday, August the 15th. You can register using the link on this screen right now. And you can pick up the household items, like the light ones, such as, blankets or pots and pans. But you can also sign up for the larger items like beds or desks or chairs to be delivered to you at a later date. So Saturday, August 17, they will deliver the bigger items from roughly 7 a.m. to 12. So that is one of the events that you want to keep an eye out on, and sign up if you are looking into getting some furniture for free. Our office, International Student and Scholar Services, will have a new student welcome event here in our office at 105 BB Commer on Friday, August 23rd at 2 p.m. So we will have food and refreshment, and you are all welcome to come and enjoy them and make friends at this event. So mark your calendar. You can also join Tuscaloosa International Friends, or we also call them as TIFF. TIFF has been in Tuscaloosa for more than 52 years, and the goal of the organization is to foster cultural exchange among international students and local American families. So if you want to make local American family friends, you can sign up to be paired. We have the QR code on the screen right now that you can scan for more information that will take you to their website. They also have Instagram account and Facebook accounts that you can follow for more updated information. Their kickoff event is on August the 25th. So y'all UA students who are new on campus to UA, you are all welcome to attend this event on August the 25th. Here at UA, we have many different cultural and language students association. As you can see, these are just several examples of the student works that here are on UA campus. We have the African Student Association, we have the Bangladesh Student Association, Indian Student Association, Vietnamese International Student Association as well. And we pretty sure that you will find something that you feel belong to among these student orgs. And other than the ones that we listed here, in total, UA has more than 500 student organizations that registered. So we hope that you will join the organization, one of these organizations, and find a place that you belong to and make friendships out of these clubs or organizations or association. And we also have our coffee hour almost every Friday here. Our first coffee hour will be on Friday, August 30th, from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. At the Student Center in room 2100. And the coffee hours is, like I say, roughly every Friday, except for major holidays or when UA is closed. And it's usually held at the same time and at the same place. And it's a great place to enjoy some refreshment and making friends and having meaningful conversations. We have coffee hour that feature each country each week. So it's a great place to come enjoy other culture or celebrate your own culture. And also mark your calendar. August 30th is our first coffee hours in fall 2024. And that is all of the reminders that I want to share. And now probably it's time for question.
Yeah, so if anyone has any questions regarding their presentation or reminders, go ahead and send those in the Q&A and we'll get to those. But now we want to transition to our current student panel and just talk about how they transition to living in the United States. But feel free, any questions that you may have as a newly admitted student, send those. And as a reminder, we may not be able to get to your questions, but please email us. We'll drop both the grad school's email as well as ISSS, if y'all will put y'all's email in there in the chat as well, just in case they have any follow-up questions that we can't get to. Some of the questions that are being submitted in the Q&A, I see that some of those are being answered, via, I guess, text, typing, whatever. So if you do have some questions, be sure to check those guys because some of those questions are being answered there. So I do want to get started with our panelists. And our first question for them is, when you came to the U.S., tell me 3 things that you 100% are, would recommend bringing, things that you thought maybe you could have found when you arrived here and you weren't able to find. I think last year someone said like a specific food item that they really miss from home, but really 3 things that you didn't realize that you should have brought that, you may have regretted once you got here, that you would tell your new friends, definitely bring these things.
Okay, I think I'll go first. So hi everyone, my name is Solomon once again. And one of the significant things that I realized that I should have brought in excess is food. And I mean, that leads to a lot of, culture shock because from where I come from, the kind of food I eat, the ingredients I get, there are some that I cannot get right here. However, when you're coming, ensure that all those food items are well branded and spelled out the ingredients. If it's an ingredient, let it be spelled out. Preferably it should be from a company with a seal. That makes it easy when you get to the port of entry, so you won't get your food returned back home. And the second thing for me was clothing as well. So for example, I am very African centric. I tend to wear a lot of my traditional wears almost every week. And, it's something that shows where I come from and I enjoy wearing it. So, and it feels comfy as well. So it's something that you can consider bringing. And I believe those were the major things that I should have, brought in excess. So I'll let Ladi and Claudia, just share that.
I would add universal adapter, because when you're traveling from your country, maybe the charger would be different, and especially when you're transiting somewhere else and it's different, it's gonna be hard for you. And if you arrive here in the middle of the night and you couldn't charge your phone or your electronic devices, it would be crazy. So I would highly suggest to bring that.
I also want to add that if you bring food, making sure that they are processed food, but not produce or meat product. Because the US agriculture is really scared of, having something from foreign germinate or, spread disease in the US. And, the port of entry officers are very strict about, like screening and making sure that those items are not going through the port of entry. So, do make sure, like Solomon said, that, all of the items are well labeled and no produce or no meat product. So if you have like fish or, so the way I remember is that anything on land that are meat product are not allowed. But like say if you have fish or shrimp or squid, they are like in water, they are okay with it. If you have like seasonings or herbs that probably you would absolutely cannot live without, do bring them with you. I would also add that if you are on medication, bring them with you, because some of the medications are here on camp in the US requires a prescription. You can't just like go to a pharmacy and get medication. So if you're have, the over-counter medications that you want to stock on, probably bring them. If you wear glasses or contacts, it's probably a good idea to bring extra. So those are some of the items that I think would be a good ideas to bring, or, bring extra.
Lottie, did you have anything to add?
No, I think they all covered like the bulk of the stuff you should bring. I don't have anything to add.
Oh, and also probably cash in smaller bill. I remember, like when I first arrived, you may have to have some expense that you need to buy, and maybe your credit card doesn't work, or you have to pay for something. So carry some cash with you.
Sure. Yeah. So on the opposite end of that, what is something that you packed that when you got here, you realized I could have just bought that when I got here instead of taking up half my suitcase?
For that one, I would say, oh, Solomon, you want to go first? Oh, Laddie, you
Oh, no.
want to go?
Yeah, for me it was I think I got a winter jacket. And like I don't know why I got a winter jacket from Nigeria, because there's no snow in Nigeria, and the winter jacket I got was eventually useless. So it just ended up taking so much space. I think I got two. Plus Tuscaloosa is even really that cold that you need like a even during the winter. But like I guess if you're going to get a winter jacket, just come and get it here. If anything. Yeah.
Go ahead, Claudia. What were you saying?
I was about to say the same thing. So I was laughing because that's also my experience.
That is too funny.
Well, I'm just going to reiterate on clothing before I mention other things. So it's not even just winter jacket alone. Even your normal tops, shirts and jean and all these things. They are very easy to get around, and they're quite affordable. So it's just going to take a bulk of your space if you invest a lot in them. Even including shoes as well. These are things that you can easily get access to. However,
Oh, you may have.
Okay, it keeps tripping me off on and off. Don't know why. I understand that new students are going to need to save, especially their first few months, probably trying to get their balance in terms of their finance.
but then you probably would just want to consider something you can bring in for about a month of your stay. Then you can do some major shopping around, and to recuperate yourself and feel really good. Then another thing is writing pads and materials. Oops. Okay.
So writing pads and material things that you use for your study, you can easily get them here. And the beautiful part about it is I didn't even need to purchase. They were easy to get. I got some from Grow. I got some from different orientation. I was working at the quad, and I got some as well. So these things are readily available, and you can equally get those, right here. And also kitchen utensils, just like it was said in the orientation, things that you need in the house. I don't think you should, just get those as well. Those things are readily available. So I think, yeah, basically those are a few things I probably would have dropped back in Nigeria.
Yeah, just to piggyback on that, like all the space for all those utensils, the writing pads, they are better invested in just getting more food. Honestly, I'm serious. Like, because especially in Alabama, I don't think there is an African store. So I go to Nashville, I drive to Atlanta anytime I want to like go to an African store. So if you can get like your herbs, like your spices, just pack them in your bag. Forget if you can even just take one shirt and a trouser and like the rest just food. I mean, go for it. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So what was your biggest learning curve when both arriving just to the US, to Alabama in general, but also in your classes as a graduate student?
I think for me, it was mostly the fact that the method of instruction is very different. In Nigeria, things are very theoretical. There isn't like I studied engineering, but like things are very, very theoretical. When you move to the US is very different because the way they ask the questions is very practical. And if you've done a degree over an extended period of time where you had to think a certain way and you just all of a sudden had to switch and your exams and your tests are like that, it can be pretty difficult when you see the first few your first few assessments, and it looks as if like you're not doing well, and it starts getting into your head. But honestly, it's something where you just need to understand that like it's normal for you to like have that. You're not stupid, like you're extremely smart for you to even get into the program, and you should not feel down because you aren't performing well at the start. All you need to do is just put in more effort, understand that um there is that difference in how the method of instruction is. And this is where like UA professors are very helpful. You need to take advantage of office hours. Don't be shy. Go and talk to them. Like back home, it's a thing where it's very hard to, talk to professors, talk to teachers. You're very afraid. But here, if you're not understanding anything, go to their offices. I won't say pester them, but like go to their offices, disturb them, ask them for extra instruction, just so that you can get to a normal footing with the rest of like your peers. So that I feel for me, that was like the biggest learning curve. Like after I feel zeros on some continuous assessment tests, like it was I had to like, put my head down and like put in more effort into like understanding like what the system required. So yeah.
Okay, I think I will go next. So for me, it was more of cultural difference and communication. I had to really adjust to some phrase words. For example, I remember the first week I landed, someone said my fault, and it meant my fault, but it means something else in my country. It's a slang in my country. And I was like, what's going on? So it's one of the learning curves. I had to, be very patient to understand what people were saying. I ask questions if I am not clear, and the beautiful part of things is especially within the campus community, people are always ready to help. They don't get tired of answering your questions. So if you hear something and you're not exactly sure what it means, it's best that you ask. It's same as even when you find yourself in class, maybe during a lecture, and just like Ladi mentioned, you can always go to the lecturer's office to, ask questions to be sure. Then in terms of cultural difference as well, there's a whole lot to learn from, and you just need to take your time, be very open-minded to understand that you are not in your own country. There are some moral values or religious values that you have from your own country that might be a bit different in the United States. So you need to be open and understanding that you are in a new environment and you need to respect other people's views about life. So those were majorly the two things that that were curves for me, learning curves that I needed to adjust to.
Sure.
Can I add something to that? So as a PhD student, we all gonna have like moment when we were like so stressed about it. And one thing that I realized is like it's okay if you're stressed, and like we have counseling center on campus that you can go. Back in my country, we don't really talk about mental health, but then in here, mental health is something that is important as much as your physical health. So that's my biggest learning curve. When I was like really stressed, I don't know what to do, I can go, and that time I can speak to someone else in a counseling center to help me like clear out my mind, because again, PhD is hard.
For sure. So I know you guys have been here for quite a few years, and I think all of you, well, Solomon and Lottie have vehicles. I don't know. Claudia, do you have a car? No. Okay, see, perfect. This is awesome. But I know a lot of our students, when they get here, they don't have a vehicle, but then, after a year or two, they're able to purchase a vehicle and get their driver's license. But kind of talk about, how do you get around campus in the city, or especially when you first arrived, and even now for those who do have a car, what was that process like in purchasing that?
Um, so I mean, my advice is you probably want to get an apartment that is either close to campus and that's just about a 10-minute, 15-minute walk to campus, or you get an apartment that has one of the shuttles that like goes from the campus and back. Because when I first got here, I was just looking at price. Oh my God, these rent prices are so expensive. And I was like, oh, I went on Zillow, or I can't remember, apartments.com, and I saw like, oh, this house is pretty cheap. And I signed up, I signed the lease and everything. And I mean, shortly after I realized why it was so cheap, because like I had to like walk like 30 minutes to campus like every day for my first like semester, because like there was no buses like going towards that area. So you typically want an apartment that has access to one of the UA shuttles or is very close to campus. Pending the time where you would get a car. For me, now that I have a car, I would say the Tuscaloosa, you kind of need a car eventually at some point, because it just gives you like a certain level of freedom. You can go get groceries when you want to. You can go hang out with your friends. Just like Claudia mentioned about mental health. I mean, if your closest friend is 40 minutes away or 30 minutes away if you're trekking, like you wouldn't be inclined to go there. It does help you a lot of things. So eventually you want to get a car. So I feel like it's something where you save for it. Because when I first started, like I didn't know that a car was going to be so important. So in my first year, I was spending money on frivolous things like, oh, I need this MacBook looks so cool. let me go get this new MacBook. Then another iPad like comes and I'm like, oh, another iPad, let me get this. But all the money that I spent on all those things could have just been invested in getting a car earlier. So I think it's pretty important, but like for your first year or first 2 years, I would advise you like stay in an apartment that's very close to campus or one of the apartments that has the access to the buses. So yeah.
For sure. Anyone wanted to add anything?
Oh, yes. So before I got a car, I had a bicycle. So if you know how to ride a bicycle, that could be helpful as well. And but if you don't, please don't bother. Just don't bother, please. I would suggest you don't bother because Tuscaloosa is not really bike friendly outside of the campus. So, but within the campus, it's really bike friendly and it will save you a lot of time. I would say that the University of Alabama is very, very big. I mean, huge compared to my campus in Nigeria. It's very big. So it's very good if you are know how to ride a bicycle, and bikes are quite cheap. Or let me say affordable, and you could even have friends, just give you a bike. So association, I would just touch on association is very important. Try to keep up with friends. They would really come in handy, especially if you're a new student and you're trying to settle down. Because some like Ladia and myself, we have a car. We can easily just help you if you want to do grocery shopping and things like that. So there are different associations. There are different ways you can connect with people that they would come in very handy. Because there are a couple of food markets that are not really close to your apartment, and you just probably want to dedicate a day in the week to do those things. So I would strongly suggest that you keep relationships very well. And one beautiful thing about people in Tuscaloosa is everyone is kind. Everyone is ready to, show kindness. Really, really kind people. So that's just what I wanted to add. Lastly, there are also shuttles within the Tuscaloosa city. They come about every hour. I'm not going to advise you to use it if you have somewhere that you're rushing to, but if you really just want to go around the city and explore the city, or you're not in a hurry, then you can use it just to also get yourself familiar with it. But within the campus, there are shuttles that moves around every 15, 30, 45 minutes, depending on the route. So there are a lot of buses available to move you around.
Yes. And I definitely recommend going ahead and getting that transportation app. For me, coming from a small town, I was not used to public transportation at all or figuring out a navigation app. So even as an American who is from the state of Alabama, when I got on campus here, I was a little overwhelmed and figuring out the app and how it worked. And I ended up asking a freshman to explain it to me. So I felt a little dumb, but it took me about a month to figure it out. So I definitely, recommend downloading that and at orientation and grow before your classes start, try to use that app and figure it out, hop on the bus and, see how long it's going to take you to get from point A to point B. Because just because on Google Maps, it says it's going to take you, it's a 5-minute drive. On that bus, it may be a 15-minute drive because they're going to go all the way around campus. It's not going to be a direct shot. So really allow yourself more time to get from point A to point B, and give yourself grace and know that everyone is also confused. Don't feel like you are behind or anything, because there's other students who are figuring out, even US students who don't know what the heck they're doing and how to get around campus. So feel free to ask. I know definitely during Grow and orientation, when I'm working, I've given a new international student a ride home because their internet wasn't working, the Wi-Fi and things like that. So there's always people around who are willing to help and give you some guidance. So don't feel, afraid to ask for help. I saw, Claudia, that you have to go a little bit early, so thank you so much for joining us. If any of our students have questions for Claudia, she is one of our graduate ambassadors. I'll link our grad ambassador webpage on the website. So feel free, all of our graduate ambassadors are happy to answer questions either about their specific program or if they're from your home country, your hometown, feel free to reach out to them. They'll help get you connected with some of our student organizations as well. But thank you so much, Claudia, my other panelist. That's not a freebie
No.
to she just she is working on her dissertation and has an interview. So she's gonna
Okay.
help.
Bye.
Thank you, Claudia. Yeah. So some other questions, and I do see we have some questions in the Q&A, and I'll go ahead and ask those since we are talking about transportation. Just they're asking about the average price of a car, or how can you get a good car around town? I'll let our students answer. I mean, I personally see like on Facebook Marketplace, but there's lots of scams there as well. So I don't know if y'all have any tips about buying and selling cars. I mean, I would say you could get a decent car for under $5,000, but again, please tell me one that will get you from point A to point B. It won't get you
Well,
to California and back.
well, so it depends on preference. It depends on what you're looking for. I mean, it depends on you as a person. You can, just go to Toyota or Honda. You could walk into, these vehicle brands and they would have what's it called? Pre-owned vehicles. So pre-owned in the sense that it has been used before, but it has been certified by the vehicle brand, and you can decide to, finance those vehicles. That might be a bit expensive or affordable depending on you. I have lab mates that financed their cars, and they pay every month. They don't, and it helps them build their credit score and history. And another option for you is to probably save up a couple of months and try and just there are actually a lot of dealers around aside from the popular ones. You could get a decent car from dealers, um within 5K and 10K, depending on your budget and your preference and your taste. And there are a lot of dealers, that could potentially be helpful. Facebook Markets is not also really that terrible. There are people that get their car on Facebook Market. All they just need to do is to go check in with maybe the car dealer to be sure everything is working very fine. So there are different options for you, but I would strongly suggest that in your first few months here, you probably just want to get settled first and get yourself familiar with the whole academic process, networking with people. Then things like getting a car would be sort of easier for you to figure out when you have some of the other things sorted. So that's just what I wanted to add.
And I will say, several students who are graduating in December or even, in May, who are moving back
Sell their
home
cars.
or whatever, they'll be looking to sell their vehicles. And so that's probably a better time to find a used car because it may be from, one of your friends who is going back home and will sell it to you a little cheaper. And you can a little bit more reliable. So like Solomon said, waiting a few months, getting your feet wet, making sure you actually need a vehicle. You may find a best friend who is just super helpful and willing to drive you around like a chauffeur. I don't know, but it's definitely worth waiting a few months to see what's out there and your options, and also making sure, that you're not going to get scammed. And that's what we're here for. Before you go and make a big purchase from someone you don't know, please, send that post to one of your friends or even a staff member, because I can quickly spot out a scammer. I'm assuming you guys can too, but you just never know, and we don't want you to lose money. But some other, oh, go
I
ahead.
think the best thing is just with cars is buy it nice or buy it twice. Because if you're saving, like you see sometimes in some ads, like a car might cost 4,500, and you just have $3,000 and you go buy a car of $3,000, I feel like you should just wait to pay the 4,500 and just buy a car of 3,000, because car repairs are so expensive. This is something that like I went through myself. I decided to, I had the money to like buy a better car, but like I decided to go for something cheaper. I ended up spending more than the price of the car trying to fix the car. So it's better for you to spend that extra $2,000 on quality than, having to spend way more than that to fix the car. So yeah.
For sure. Yeah, so another question that was on here was about ordering a ride from outside campus to school. So I'm assuming you're talking about an Uber or a Lyft. I would just say it depends on the time of day, how many rides are, cars are out and available. I'll let some of the students talk. I live a little bit further from campus. It's about a 15-minute drive, about 6 miles. So that is a little bit more expensive for me. I do not recommend our students living that far from campus, but again, I like to live that far because, quiet. But for you guys who live a little bit closer on average, what is an Uber ride if you need to quickly get to campus?
Typically it's an app, like you should be looking to spend any between $10 to $20 on average. Like it's a pretty standard price unless you're going somewhere specific. If you're just going to Walmart or you're going to campus, like it's pretty $15 most of the time. They have like a base fee, then like other fees on top of it. But like, yeah.
Sure. And I saw someone asked about free shuttle service from the airport to Tuscaloosa. So there are shuttle services that you can purchase, but I will also add that some of our student associations, they will volunteer and offer times to come and pick you up. So definitely if you connect with those student associations, they may, be willing to come and pick you up. Some of your friends or our future roommates and things like that. So definitely see if those are available before you go and do that. Is there anything that you guys know about other than what I'm mentioning?
Yeah, that's quite right, Kate. Also, your lab mates can be very helpful. If you really need that sorted, you can discuss it with your advisor or just your lab mates and ask if they can offer you a ride from, the airport. I'm sure a lot of people would love to help new students come from the airport. So those are also other ways by which, you can get in.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Even if it's not an international student association, like Solomon said, reach out to your PI, and, some of your lab mates or even others in your cohort. If you're not, specifically in a lab or anything, there may be even, domestic students who would be willing to come and pick you up. A lot of students who go to the University of Alabama are from the Birmingham area. And again, it's not that far, but a lot of students may be, arriving back at the airport at the same time and may be willing to give you a ride as well. So definitely check out those resources and see, if you can get a ride. But, what is the shuttle cost from the Birmingham airport to here, just off the top of your head?
I came 4 years ago. It was about $69. Um, so I don't know what it is now, but like it should be around the same price.
So I know, for example, Groom transportation costs $48 from Birmingham to Tuscaloosa. However, Groom operates on specific days. They don't operate, every day. Greyhound could be another option, but Greyhound is cheaper, but I personally wouldn't encourage anyone to try that, especially your first day coming in. Uber is about $110. $110. But you, if people are picking you up, you could negotiate price. That is if they are not doing it for free, you could negotiate price with them and it will definitely be subsidized. So I would encourage you to rather go with maybe students or associations or your lab mates rather than use these guys, because it will be too expensive and you really want to save costs on your first few weeks of being here.
For sure. So we only have a few minutes left. So if there are any other questions, go ahead and submit those before we end the session. I'm going to send in our email, in the chat, the grad school email. Feel free to reach out. I'm also going to send my direct email. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Just a reminder that, we do need your on the graduate school side, the only thing that we have left needing from you guys is your official transcripts. You can bring those in person once you arrive. But if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to us. Of course, we're a resource. If you haven't registered for orientation yet, that is GROW. I'm going to drop the link in the chat for that. Please go ahead and register. Again, it's not required, but it's a super fun event. A lot of our ambassadors, our current students come back, especially to the social. You don't want to miss that. If you are going to be a graduate teaching assistant in the fall, you are required to attend the GTA workshop. You should have received emails about that. I think my biggest reminder is check your email, check your email, check your email, check your email every day, and do the things that you need to do before you arrive, that you can do before you arrive. So that way, when you get here, it's just one less thing that you have to worry about, because there's so many things that you do have to do once you arrive. But we're so excited to have you guys here. I will allow for a few more questions, but please reach out to us if we can help. Let me see if there's anything. Yeah, someone said, asking to connect, is anyone else landing in Atlanta? Yeah, I will say several students do fly into Atlanta, and there are shuttle services over, but definitely there are student organizations. Reach out to them for those newly admitted students. We also have a Facebook group for graduate students. You can also post in there. Can one of my ambassadors help me find it? Because I'm trying to find it and I can't find the link to our Facebook group. That would be a good resource to find other newly admitted students who are arriving. Yes, so the presentation, this is being recorded. We are going to put it on YouTube as soon as we can edit it. But we will send an email out with a link to our YouTube page after this session. It won't be up when we send the email out, but it will be up by the end of the week. So definitely go and look in there. And I believe that ISSS, y'all put the presentations on your website as well. Are some other presentations that are resources. So check there as well, though that link is included in the follow-up email that we send. Someone said, there's some questions about taxes paid on stipends. I know ISSS, y'all have some resources on y'all's website about that. I don't know if y'all wanted to answer that. It varies.
Yeah, tax is a complicated matter, but we do have tax analysts that help students with, analyzing taxes and making sure that you file the proper forms, and you can make an appointment to talk with them once you arrive on campus.
For sure.
And Chichinarium has a questions about CPT work. Can we get a CPT job? So CPT is not a job, it's a type of work authorization that allows students to work off campus once they've been enrolled in a full course of study for at least one full academic year. So CPT itself is not a job, it's just work authorization. So basically you need to find a job. If you get a job and it fits within the CPT requirements, then CPT may be granted to allow you to take the job.
For sure. So we did have, some other questions that we're not going to be able to get to, but for my panelists or even for the ISSS staff, what is one final piece of advice that you want to give to students here?
Don't pack the I-20 in your suitcase. That's probably one of the things you want it to be with you when you check through the port of entry. And arrive and make friends.
So don't be scared to ask questions. When you're not certain about something, it's best you make inquiry rather than just assume that this is probably the way to go. Always ask questions. No question is too dumb to ask. Don't feel too dumb to ask any question. Just ask. Normal for you not to be familiar with the whole system. So please feel free to ask. And I just wanted to mention, Caitlin, I'm sorry, but there's a graduate student association, which also caters for graduate students. And please, if you also have any need, we are there to support you. You can just shoot me an email and I will try to, also assist in the best capacity that GSA can. So thank you very much. And we're looking forward to having you guys.
For sure. So that is it for the day, right on time. Again, we are so excited to have you guys here in just a few short weeks. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. Someone asked about how to connect. All of the student associations, the international student associations, are on the ISSS website. You can find the links to all of those. You can also, email us at international at UA or even the grad school, and we can put you in contact with those people. But the best way would be to go to the website and connect that way. But we aren't going to be able to answer any more questions. If you do have anything else that we can answer or assist you with, please email us, and we'll see you here in a few weeks. And on 3, we're all going to say, roll Tide. 1, 2, 3. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Bye, guys. Thank you.